Alright, it looks like everything's working. Cool. Let's see if anybody actually shows up. There we go. Move my mouse out of the way. So I'm going to be making some more molds here. Showing you how I do that. This is just a piece of resin that I made, just in a coaster mold. I use it for making molds for my silicone molds, because you have to have something to pour the silicone into to make a mold, and you can't use silicone because it'll stick to it. Here, let me grab some of the molds that I've already made. I'll show you what's going on. So I've made some smaller ones here. They've been kind of my test molds as time has gone on. Eesh. There with the trash. And then I have two larger molds. And I was thinking of doing a mold like this one instead of this one, which is this was my first mold. I think I'm gonna go back to this style, and I'll show you what the difference is. Oh, there's not actually anybody here. I'll show you what the difference is between these two. Because there is a difference, and it does affect things. This is always satisfying to me, just pulling off. So these are just going to be a matte black set that I'm making for a D&D buddy, and also as an example. And these are going to be a set for a fighter character that I have, hopefully. Although I haven't been playing that character recently. And I'll show you what the difference is between these two molds. So, the main difference here, as you can see, is that one of these is flush with the top, and one of them has a little bit of an indent there before you get to the actual die itself. I think I'm gonna, the reason that I have, this was the first one I did. Oh, why is there a bubble? That's not good. So the reason I tried doing this is that because everything is lined up with the edges, sometimes I have to sand more than one face if I don't get it perfectly flush. And with this one, the idea is that it's a little bit in on the face. You can kind of see. So I should only have to sand one face. The problem is, it's gonna get warm. Let me take my sweater off a little bit. So here, I'll show you an example. So this one where it's flush, I have this orange one as an example here. If it'll focus, it doesn't want to focus. There we go. You can kind of see how all of the extra resin is around the edges here. Let me see on the side there. It's just around the edges. And that's good, but it does mean that sometimes I end up having to sand like this side and this side as well as the face here. Whereas with this mold, where it's all going to be on one side, yeah, this one you can kind of see it was going well. I started sanding this one already, that's just why it's white. Use that as background. You can see that the raised, come on, you can do it. Come on, focus. Okay. The raised part is all on one face, not on the corners. The problem with this, I've found though, is that it's kind of raised almost too much. Come on. You can kind of see that white there where it's raised a little bit too much. And it's a lot to sand down. So this might work better for me in the future. But for the time being, I'm realizing that this is actually easier to sand. But they both work, they're just different. That's just kind of satisfying. So let's, oh, and we open up these as well. And I made a couple testers in these. You can see this one it goes down like like this one. As does this one. I kind of made these as examples before doing this. The other problem with this is that it's very hard to get the dice out. There's just so much silicone around it that it's not that flexible, and it makes it difficult. With these smaller ones, you know, it's not all in one piece, so it's a little bit easier. But when it's in a big chunk like this, it's harder. And I was debating just doing each die individually, like these ones, which are this D4, which I use as kind of a tester and like a bonus item in a lot of orders. But it's kind of nice having them all together. So I'm deliberating a little bit. I'm debating on if I want to do what I want to do. Yeah, here, I can show you this as an example. So you can see I just pulled this one out, and it has, let's see if I can use that as a, you can see there's a lot of, if you can see that lip there, if it's going to focus, it really doesn't want to focus up close. But there's a kind of a lip here. Yeah. Whereas like this one though, this one somehow has ended up, it's the same style where it's has that indent, I don't know what you want to call it. But this one's a lot more flush, and I don't know why. I don't know why. This one would be easy to sand, and this one would not. I don't know why. Oh, these are the fighter ones, by the way. It's copper and silver. This one is just silver and black, because that's what I had left over in my little cups. So that one's unique. Let's put these back together. Set them off to the side. So, I have so much cat hair everywhere. These, there's a bubble in the D4 on these, unfortunately. Which I'll either have to make a new D4 or fill that in. But yeah, the goal for these is we're going to try and make them matte black. I saw someone do that on, I mean, I had it requested by, like I said, a D&D buddy, because I've been making dice for people I know. But then I actually saw something online talking about how to do that, so we're going to test it out, see if it works. See, those came out pretty okay. Probably gonna leave this one until the end of the stream because I want them to be, you know, pretty cured. Make sure things are cured before trying to show them out because they don't come out so easy. I hear my cat meowing outside the door. He's always so unhappy when he's locked out of the craft space. But there's dangerous things in here. Like resin. Upstairs, Sandy. Okay. So. We'll move that off to the side. Like I said, I think we're gonna make one like this, where it's flush. And to do that, gotta drink my hot cocoa. First thing I want to do is make sure everything is clean. I'm gonna put gloves on. I don't necessarily have to for silicone, but I'm gonna put them on just because silicone's sticky and I don't want to get fingerprints on my dice masters. So first thing we're gonna do is make sure these are nice and clean. I have a whole big thing of isopropyl alcohol that a friend gave me. We both make soap, and they had a different friend send them like 3 giant things of isopropyl alcohol. And they're like, do you need any isopropyl alcohol? And I'm like, yes, I do. So I use these masters somewhat recently to make this mold over here. So they might have a little bit of residue from that on them. I just want to, what was that? Some sort of red fleck. Might have a little bit of residue on here. I just want to make sure they're cleaned off. I have a shop towel there. Yeah. This is the exciting part of making molds. Make sure everything's clean. It is pretty important. This is the first mold I ever made. And I'm sure my camera's gonna go out of focus, but if you look at my symbol there in the middle, oh, it doesn't want to focus on it. Come on, there we go. You can kind of see that one of the little arms there is not as tall, and that's because I didn't clean out the little, didn't clean them out very well, so the silicone couldn't get in there to make the mold. But I've gotten better at that, I think, as I've gone on. This is just kind of an initial wipe them down sort of thing. They're not super dirty by any means. I just want to, if it'll focus, you can kind of see some grime on this. Will it focus? It doesn't want to focus. It never wants to focus. Oh, there we go. You can kind of see some grime there on the 3. I'm just trying to get all of that stuff off. I think there's certain parts of dice making that are my favorite. There's certain parts that aren't. And I think making the molds, not necessarily making the molds, but deciding how I want to make the molds. Because, like I said, there's 2 different kinds here that I tried. And there's benefits to both. I mean, there is also sprue molds where you put the dice in there, and then you have a little opening at the top to put the resin in, and a oh, what's it called? Reservoir, so you can have some resin on top, so that when I put it in the pressure pot, it will have enough resin to go down in and fill where all the bubbles were. Haven't actually tried this, because I do like the cat molds. Maybe I'll try screw molds at some point. I can still hear my cat yelling out there, "You're okay, buddy." He's just mad because he's not allowed in this room. He's always mad when he's not allowed in a room. Did I get all this stuff out? Yeah. So I was pretty much up until today thinking I was going to make another set. Another set like this one where there's kind of an indent. And then I actually pulled out a set of dice from this for the first time today. Was that today? Yesterday. Pulled them out, started trying to sand them today, and decided that it was going to be more work. I think I can get this to work. I think I just need to actually make sure that the lid is pressed down firmly, because there's just a lot of, it's like the cap part is raised a little bit, and the numbers are luckily pretty deep on my masters, so it shouldn't be too big of an issue. It's just, it takes time to sand down a face. And I think I prefer polishing to sanding. Polishing takes time, but it is less finesse almost than sanding. Yes, less finesse than sanding. Oh good, I did turn my audio back on. I was worried about that for a second. I just had someone lurking for a moment. It's back down to one viewer, probably me. Because for some reason it has me marked as a viewer. Don't know why it does that. I'll probably be here for a little bit. We'll see if anybody just randomly pops in. I do that sometimes. Well, I tried that at least at one point. Just went into the making and crafting tag and shopped around, I guess. Looked around, saw what people were doing. I think I made this worse somehow. And I have a sprayer. There we go, that's a little bit better. Alright, so the way I make molds, let's set these back off to the side. I have my base here, and I'm going to, oh, I have a different kitty cat out there now. That is, yeah, that's not. I could tell which cat it is by their meow. The other one was Fizz. Okay. So we're gonna take these down onto the base here, and I want them to be. My tea. Ooh, my coaster's attached. And I want them to be as flat as possible. That's the idea. So I have some double-sided tape here. Or I could use, that doesn't really stick so well. We're gonna go with double-sided tape. I've also seen people use polymer clay, but I've found that it doesn't really stick to the resin so well. So we're just gonna go for the tape. I don't want it to overhang at all, but I want it to. And I'm gonna do the number 1 side up. Oh, wait a minute. Let me think about this. I'm only gonna be able to do one of those at a time. I'll have to order more silicone. I'm gonna do the one side up because we'll see if I think maybe once I get this working, it'll be okay, but. So what I want to do is I'm going to attach this to this side, the number 1, my lowest face. Oh, I should actually do D20 first, put it in the middle. So I'm going to have it so that I've already scratched my masters a little bit. Don't tell the company I ordered them from. They've been so nice. Oh, one of Fitz is now being attacked by Knot. I could hear it happening because I know my cats, and that's the sound of Fitz being attacked by Knot. My tweezers, I think that'll be easier for adding this tape. Oops, it's still stuck to my finger. There we go. So, I don't know if you'll be able to see, but there's sticky tape attached to the number 1 side. I'm going to put that in the middle of a base. Is that the middle? It's roughly the middle. As long as it's roughly the middle, that's fine. I want a little bit of space between all of the numbers so that there's no pressure from one pushing on another. And I want a little bit of space between the die and the what's going to be the wall as well. And we're just going to continue doing that all the way around. And I think I'll kind of try to match my pattern that I have here. I'll just set these over here. Those might be useful for other ones. Okay, I'll just set that there. Tape for later if I need it. Alright, got another little triangle cut here. It doesn't have to cover the whole thing, I just needed enough for this to stick down. And honestly, I kind of want it to cover the number because that'll make it easier for me, I think. Oh, I actually want to go the other direction. And that should be enough space between. Alright. I'm going to set these down just to make sure. Got everything set up how I want it. I could actually spread these out a little bit more. Oh no, actually. Yeah, that's fine. I have one in the middle, and then it has kind of 6 sides to it, and I just have one lined up with each side. Perfect. And I'm just gonna keep going around. Maybe I'll just go around in numerical order. I think I might just do that. I'm just gonna go around in numerical order. I don't think I'm gonna do a pentagon. I'm just gonna do some sort of small shape that will fit in here. Maybe I'm gonna do sort of an accidental pentagon. It's not really a pentagon. It's kind of a square with it's kind of a house shape. But like I said, I just needed to take this down. Knocked over my tape. Why did I put it on that side? Put it on the wrong side. Wasn't even thinking about what side it went on. got distracted. I was thinking too hard about the fact that I'm streaming. Let's try this again. I don't even have anybody watching it. I was thinking too hard about it. Look, my hands are shaking. Not all that much. They just do that all the time. Before I add that, let's just make sure that the side that I have that on is still wiped down and clean. Alright. We'll put that on the actual side that I want to put that on now. Just covering up that number 1. Alright. There's that. Oh, I did them out of order because there's the 10s would definitely go. Oh well. We're not doing them in order. I can do math. Yeah. I have a degree in that. Okay. I do actually have a degree in that. But I've never actually been good at, you know, time cycles and such. Just don't want it hanging off the side there. Just make sure that's there's nothing on there. There's a piece of old silicone on there. Okay, lining things up again. Make sure that's on there. It's not really on there as well as the other ones, but it's on there. That's the important part. Oh, actually, I think this one will fit really well on here. I'm gonna use that piece from before. That spare piece. I don't want to scratch my masters either. So we'll flip this over. These masters took a long time to sand and polish. It took about 8 hours. And I remember afterwards being like, really? Really? And then I did the math, considering all of the different papers and stuff that I used to sand and polish, and I'm like, oh no, that lines up actually. That's a reasonable amount of time. Okay. Putting the smallest sides. And this one's just trash. That's one that didn't work. Alrighty, now we're going to do the D4. The only downside to streaming while I do this, normally I would be watching so many YouTube videos right now, like so gosh darn many. I watch a lot of YouTube while I'm working on things. Don't listen to music as much as I used to, like while working on things. I remember, I guess I didn't have the internet as a kid. Huh, that's weird to think about. I was kind of that last little, those last few people who didn't really have the internet all that much as a kid. I guess that's what millennials are, since I'm at the tail end of that. Oh, one more actually. Let's do another one of these ones, of my testers. Yeah. I need to get a new Q-tip. This one's getting a little old and ratty. Alright. Oops. Ah, come on, balance. Can't get my Q-tip to balance. Okay, there we go. Alright. And this one. That's better. The one was still looking a little dirty, a little grimy. Here, let's use some of these extra pieces from before. I need to start figuring out how this stream stuff works too, because I know that I could like post a schedule and like chat rules and stuff, make it look all like professional. But this is what, my 4th stream. Plus I'm not making anything super exciting right now. Just some molds. Alright. So there's all of the bases. There's the bases for my molds. Right there. So from here, I'm going to just rub these down a little bit again. I just want to, especially those ones that I was pushing down on. Although I'm wearing gloves, so it shouldn't be too big of an issue. In the past, I've definitely left fingerprints on the top as I was pushing them down. That's not really an issue with the gloves. Just want to make sure they're clean. So I'm trying to make some like example dice. So I'm hoping to open up commissions soon, which is what these are from. Don't really like how this set came out. It just came out too dark. Can't really see the feathers that I put inside. You can a little bit. And they're supposed to be red and purple there, but they're just so similar in color you can't really see them all that well. So I think I'm gonna end up remaking that. I do like this orange though. I do think that's fun. Okay, so once those are clean, tape. I am very, I mean, you can kind of tell by how these are shaped, they're kind of wonky a little bit, and that's because I use tape as my walls. I don't use anything all that. Okay, this might be easier without gloves for now. So I can actually get the tape unwrapped. And I'm not planning on touching the dice or the silicone yet, so it should be okay. Alrighty. Let's put some silicone on the side here. I can't have that. I can't have that. I just made this mold a couple days ago with the same piece. Why is there? Yes, it was. Yes, my very high-tech mold making. Just get this all the way around. Come on. Do that. Alright, there's all the way around. Just make sure everything is pressed together. Okay, let's do this one. I don't know if you could even see what I was doing last time now I'm looking at it. Add tape there. Make sure it's roughly even. Don't want to accidentally attach that to the die. Just trying to make kind of a and around a couple precautions, like, well, and then I do, just as a precaution, I don't think I've ever actually needed it, but better safe than sorry, I just put a little bit underneath so that if any silicone does make it through this tape, it'll get caught in this piece of tape. Just a little added protection. Should really figure out what to do to make my streams more interesting. I just like making stuff though. So, I was going to make molds anyways. This just makes it so I have to make things on a schedule, which is not a bad thing. Oh. Do kind of the same thing for this one. Ooh. No, don't stick to yourself. You're so sexy. Ah. That's a meme. Please don't take that out of context. Alrighty. I just want to kind of. That would kind of go underneath here so that, like I said, if any falls down, we can catch it. How did I do this in the past? Because this is not going so smoothly. It looks like a mess right now, but it works. Please believe me. At least I haven't had any issues with the last two that I've done. Ooh, although that's crinkling in a lot. What's it doing that? Yeah, it's not what I need. I think it'll be okay though. I just need to make sure that I have, I think we'll be okay. Oh, you know what I should do now, before I forget, this is the wrong pen for this, but figure out how high I need to go. That's where that is. I don't know that. So I need to go to about here. I need to fill it up to about that blue line. Can't really see how high that is. About that blue line, so that we're above the D20 enough to have some support. I can be a little bit below that, and I'll be fine. I just want to make sure that there's enough silicone around all of the dice, so they don't get warped. Because no one wants warpy dice. Ah. Oof, this one's gonna be a warpy one. It's because I'm making it in front of perceived people. Things will never look as good when you're doing it in front of someone else. Oh, did I make it all the way around? Oh. Just a little tiny piece right here and I'm good. Wait, or am I good? Oh. Yeah, I'm perfectly fine. I don't even need that. Alright, we've got our two molds for our molds. Am I missing anything before I go? Oh, yes. Haha. So I have a whole bunch of, this is like silicone that I pulled out from the mixing pot and stuff after it's cured. When I first did this, I had leftover, I didn't know what to do with it. And I'm going to fill in a little bit, not a lot, just a little bit, with this. I don't have to use as much of my other silicone. Just some of these pieces. Some of the sturdier ones that I can actually work with. Oh boy. I wish someone would come hang out. I just want someone to come hang out. Anybody want to come hang out? I just want to like chat. Is Eastern Standard Time earlier in the day? Should I maybe do this earlier or later? I mean, I do need to get up tomorrow morning. I'm doing another local promotional work stuff. I don't know what it's for. It's fun. I get to go do some acting stuff. Half an hour of doing a monologue in front of a camera. Fun stuff. Pretending to be someone I'm not. Social distancing and being in front of a camera. Did some of that last Thursday? It was last Thursday. All of my Thursdays bleed together without Critical Role. Alright. Let's go to this one. So I'm just cutting off some I can't do it back there, you can't see it. Just cutting off some kind of thin pieces here. Oh, should have been doing. Let's just take these ones. Oh, let's mark where this one's gonna need to get to as well. About there. Let me see how tall this is in comparison. That doesn't need to be that tall. Let's say about that tall. There we go. Some medium-sized boys. I'm just going to put them in kind of the corners here. Out of the way. If these haven't been pressurized completely, perfectly, I want them far enough away that they're, again, not going to warp my actual mold part. I just want to fill in some of that space that would be taken up by new silicone. Did I not have enough last time? Is that a thing? I think I'm okay. I don't know why I'm stressing about that. I'm trying to remember how much silicone I needed last time. I think I ended up needing more than I thought. So it might go up. I have these super fancy measuring cups, aka plastic drinking cups. But the nice thing about them is that they have, you know, lines on the side that I can fill up to. I'm trying to remember. I know where I filled it up to last time. I'm trying to remember if I ended up with enough resin when I filled it up to there. I think I didn't, but I don't want to end up with a whole bunch of extra again. That's happened as well. So I think I'll fill up to where I think I should, and then I'll make more if I need to. What really will happen is I will make sure that I fill this mold first, and then if there's more, I will fill in this one. Because this one's not as important. And I already have 3 of these ones. Cool. Make some more. Some more of those kind of filler pieces. I don't want to put as many in here almost. I'm just going to put these off to the side. I don't want to put too much filler in here and mess with the integrity of the mold. Shouldn't, but you know. This one. Oh yeah. Oops. I dropped one. I just want to make sure this wasn't too tall. And it's not. Just gonna throw a couple more of these in. And like I said, I want to do it away from the I want to do it away from the dice themselves, because I don't want them to, if they weren't, like I said, if they weren't pressurized completely perfectly. I don't want them to affect the integrity of the dice. That's not a ton, but oh, I hear my cat again. I'll hold on to a couple more pieces and I can always throw these on top if I need to. And I think that's everything I need to pour my molds. So, put these back on. Because the silicone stuff is sticky and I don't like it. It's not dangerous, as far as I don't think anyways. Shouldn't be. Pretty sure it's not dangerous. Everything I've seen has said it's not dangerous. Yeah, no hazardous ingredients. No hazardous ingredients. Hey, it's not even hazardous in California, and that's saying something. Okay, so I have two-part silicone here. I'm not using the clear stuff because this was what was available online when I got it. Oh boy, my kitty cat seems so unhappy. Alright, I'm gonna go angle that towards me a little bit. Probably be able to see me. Oops, come on. Because I'm going to fill this up. Not all the way, but up to this line. Which I don't think you can really see all that well. But I think that should be plenty, but we'll find out. Oh, I actually have more silicone in here than I thought. That's great. I should have enough for a lid. Oh yeah, I have to make a lid. Ow, my knee. I'm needling here. Now my knee hurts. Add a little bit more. Oh, and we're good. I hear kitty cats outside my door again. It's Fitz again. There might be another cat with him. But I definitely heard Fitz. Oops. Is Koshi with him? Thought I just heard someone scratching at the door, and that's usually a Koshi thing. She doesn't meow as much. I have 4 cats, by the way. I am that crazy cat lady. That might be Koshi. She's the one that usually scratches. Ugh, there's so much cat hair everywhere. I think that is Koshi. She's been very affectionate lately. She's definitely, you know, that kind of scaredy cat that it will not, if you are not me or my brother, the 2 people that live in this house, if you're not me or my brother, you will never see her. Except maybe on Zoom. Because she does not want to be seen by anybody that's not my brother or I. But to us, she's a big softie. She wants all the attention, all the petses. Alright. There's our 2 parts. Ow. Get my sweater. Quite a bit of silicone there. And then we're going to let's get the silicone off of the stir. Don't need that on there. As long as it's just kind of satisfying. It just kind of peels right off. if I could grab it with my tweezers. Alright, this won't be too big of an issue, since I'm going to be stirring up cured silicone with a popsicle stick that has cured silicone on it. Alrighty. I wonder if I should change the placement of my camera a little bit so it's a little bit more of a top down. I guess my only real concern there is lighting. I don't want to block the light because I do have a light right above me. Kind of put it off to like this side though, and I think I'd be fine. It's very viscous. Very viscous. I don't know why I just thought of this, but I always really admire people who are funny because they aren't afraid to make a fool of themselves. Not necessarily like badly, not in a bad way. I mean like they just go for it with things. Like if someone says, hey, sing a song, they do it. They actually go for it, like full on, even if it might be bad. I always really admire that. I feel like I should do that more. Maybe that'll be I never make New Year's resolutions, but maybe that'll be my New Year's resolution. To just be unabashedly silly. I feel like I was a little bit at university, and then I came back here and I haven't really been. But that's part of the reason I want to get back into theater and stuff. It's because you can't act. I mean, I guess there are people who act and take themselves seriously, but the whole process of acting is embarrassing. Maybe that's just me, but like, you can't play it safe when you're acting. I mean, you can, but you won't necessarily make good, strong choices. I want to get better at that. I feel like that'd be good for me. I think I'll have more fun that way too if I'm not so worried about what other people are thinking. Like I said, gotta get back into theater. Which I finally got enough time to do, and then, you know, there was a pandemic. But I'm glad that I'm, you know, getting to do some of the local kind of socially distanced film stuff. That's been fun. Did a photo shoot, did a commercial, and the one tomorrow is for like a local geocaching thing, I think. Like a kind of a scavenger hunt. I think it's like a scavenger hunt app. Something like that. So I'm gonna be a character that gives you some clues at some location. Which is fun. I like stuff like that. They were like, hey, just want to make sure you know you're not getting paid for this. I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm just doing it for fun. I'm not doing theater or acting stuff for the money. Maybe someday. I don't know if I'd ever be good enough to be a professional actor. But it's fun. I get in my head too much. It's hard for me to think about multiple things at once, like what a character is like and also my lines. That's my big issue. Let me move this over so you can see what I'm stirring. Not that anybody's actually watching. I don't want to stir in too much air, but it's going to be somewhat inevitable just because there's such a quantity here. we'll get rid of some of that by pouring this very slowly. Shrug off my sweater. I might be a little chilly, but at least it won't be in my way. You can see that it's still very swirly. I just want to get it all to one color. That's the goal. Make it so it's all one homogeneous thing. Wow, there's a lot of like this blue color on my screen. I feel like how often most dice makers remake their molds. I mean, I'm making more molds so that I can make more than one set of dice at a time, because, you know, I had one and now I can make 2 sets of dice at a time. Although I'm still not sure on this one. I think I can get this one to work. I think I need to just make sure to actually press down, like, that's not necessarily advised, but because you want to make sure you don't have blue bubbles. I could, I suppose, turn that almost into a vented cap mold. I could experiment with that at some point. Maybe I'll experiment with sprue molds at some point. A lot of the stuff that I like to do, though, I like having that open face. I definitely just stirred a big bubble in. I feel like a lot of things say, I always want to make sure that I stir this enough. I feel like that's, if there's going to be problems, it's because I haven't stirred it enough, but also this is looking pretty good. It looks like it's all one homogeneous mixture, all the same color throughout. And just make sure to scrape the bottom here, make sure there's nothing I'm missing down there. Ooh, my hand's starting to seize up though. I had that yesterday too. I'm gonna have to take a break from sanding and stirring things. Who knew that dice making would be so tough on my hands? That's looking all like one color. I think that's good. Let me set this off to the side and I will show you the super exciting process for getting rid of bubbles. So we want to make sure that we don't have a lot of bubbles, even though you can see there's bubbles in there, and that all of the numbers get filled all the way. So to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to pour very, very slowly, and we're going to start in one spot that's touching the base so that it will fill up from the bottom and all of the numbers will get filled. Pouring very slowly makes it so that the bubbles, well, if the stream is small enough, if you can't have giant bubbles that go through it. Oops. I can still see, you know, some smaller bubbles that go through. Come on. There we go. Oops, that's a little bit more than I wanted. That's a little bit faster than I wanted. There we go. You can see that little stream there. Oops. This is my problem. I'm not good at keeping it consistent. But I can already see that the stuff that's in there is a lot less bubbly than the stuff that's in my container. I don't know if I can get this so you can see. You can kind of see all those spots in my container. I don't have those down below because there's not nearly as many bubbles. There's still some, but they're smaller. Oh man. Like I said, just gotta get this consistent. I saw someone, was it in like a YouTube video or something, making a mold, and they used like a paper cup or something and they poked a hole in the side of it and then put their, where they wanted their, their mold, for their mold down below it so that it just dripped really slowly. Not dripped, but like had a really thin stream like this. And they didn't have to hold it like I'm doing and try to keep it even. It was just in the, it was just via the cup that had a hole in it. I thought that was smart. I might try that at some point. I do like having this big container though. It does make it easier for me. I think I should have plenty of silicone here. All by myself. I'm the only one here. Does no one want to come watch me make molds? I should actually put up a weekly schedule. I'm trying to make it so that it's like every Wednesday at 7 sort of thing, Pacific Standard Time. So I think I'll make a schedule for Twitch. Maybe post it to Twitter. I'm still trying to figure out Twitter. I don't know how Twitter works. Like, I don't know how retweets work. How do you respond to people? What is the, like, oh, what's the word I'm looking for? That word that means, like, social niceties. Etiquette. Etiquette's the word I'm looking for. I don't know what proper Twitter etiquette is. Like, I know other social media, and I do, I guess the thing with Twitter is that it's harder for me to understand, like, replies and comments, because if you go to, like, Facebook, you can see all of the replies to, you can't necessarily, you can repost, I guess you can, like, share things, but if someone comments on something, you can see all of that in one spot, and I don't know where to find that sort of stuff on Twitter. I guess, yeah. Instagram I get, that's mostly photos, although maybe I'll start trying to do some videos of resin pouring and unmolding. I like watching those, just seeing what people have made. I think it'll be easier to unmold in this than it would be if I did another one like the other one. Let me figure out a better format for my, I don't know how to get people watching on Twitch. I think probably I'm just gonna keep doing this. Just keep streaming some sort of craft on Wednesday nights. Make sure I post about it. Yeah, this is a bit of a long process just because it takes time to pour this out, because you want to go as slow as possible. That said, this silicone does cure in 4 hours. What's the working time on this? I don't know where my paper is that says that. I think it's like half an hour. Supposedly. I wonder if it would work better for me if I streamed on a different platform. I do like Twitch. I've also thought about making YouTube videos, but I don't like editing. Editing takes so much time, and it's a lot of work to edit. I am always so impressed with people who edit things. I wonder if I could get a friend to edit for me. Might be able to. I wonder how it's determined. I don't know. I wonder how people find streams to watch. I just went to like the tag of makers and crafting at one point and browsed around. I was like, what are people making? Let's go find someone who's making resin stuff like I make. I like doing resin stuff. It might be fun to do a stream of just sanding and polishing and packaging orders. Not that like that's exciting, but it's kind of fun to see what people have ordered, I guess. I was also thinking that once I open up for commissions, it might be fun to stream making those commissions on Wednesday nights and then invite the people that I'm making them for to come watch. I feel like that'd be kind of fun. I don't know. Would I be interested in that if I ordered something special from someone? Or would I be annoyed that they're showing off this special thing? I don't think I'd be annoyed. I don't know. I think it'd be fun because it'd be kind of like a personal look into what was being made. I like seeing how things are made. I think I might do that. I think I might make that a thing. Go in and invite people to come watch their items being made on Wednesday nights. Don't want to put too many bubbles in there. I can see some of them going through the stream there. It's all about going slow. I should have plenty here. I have quite, oops, I still have quite a bit in my container. Hopefully I don't have too much. I mean, that's not necessarily a thing. I can't really have too much, but I don't want to waste all my silicone. I need it to make lids and other fun molds. But again, I'll use it for this and I'll use it for the other one. I feel like this is one of those ones where it'd be more fun if there was other people here to chat. This is honestly not that exciting of a process. It's just sitting here with a cup, pouring very slowly for a long time. It is kind of fun to watch it start to cover things though. I was thinking about what I should wear tomorrow. Because I said just wear, you know, normal clothes. But I'm like, I must think of the character. I mean, I'm going to wear normal clothes, so I'm probably just going to wear jeans and a tank top. I mean, not necessarily normal for me. Where's my waistcoat? We're getting back into cooler weather. I could start wearing all my waistcoats again. Of course, I've been at home mostly, so I haven't had a reason to show them off. Maybe I'll start wearing them for, I mean, not start, but I'll have to do more Zoom calls. That's maybe faster than I should be, but I'll put it up higher and that'll help out a little bit. I thought for a second there that it said I had -1 viewers. I'm sure that it didn't, and I was just looking at it weird. But that was a little funky. I'm Once I'm done with this, I'm gonna help my brother make some stuff with resin. He has some ideas for like some stone kind of things. He wants to make like a rutilated quartz type thing. All right. It just takes so long. I think you can see in the camera there, you can see a couple bubbles starting to come to the surface there with the light refracting off of them. That's good though. I'm glad they're coming up to the top to pop. Hopefully by pouring fairly slowly and from the bottom, none of those bubbles will be against the dice. Just the big issue. And hopefully none of them are really big bubbles. I'm going to put these in the pressure pot so that they're prepared for when I'm going to cast dice in the pressure pot, because I do pressure. You kind of have to do pressure casting with these style of molds. Baby, don't you know I'm done? We're all covered now. I'm just gonna add a little bit of, if I can use my tweezers, a little bit of filler here. Don't want to add too much because I still want those bubbles to be able to get to the top. But just a little bit to, you know, fill in that space a little bit. So I don't have to use all the silicone. And I'm going to actually put a little bit over them, so that I can, they'll actually go down. Not down necessarily, but they won't float. Not that they float, but I want them to be attached well. Oop, that was a bunch all at once. Not necessarily what I want. I don't want bubbles. Yeah, I think we'll have pretty close to the right amount. I'm just trying to get up to that line that I marked on the side before I started, so that I know that I have enough silicone at the bottom to keep everything supported. I'm noticing that's probably enough right there, so I'm going to start adding some to this one so I can make sure I get both of them filled. Let's see if I can. Oops, that's not what I want. We'll just pull that out. Making a little bit of a mess here, but it's silicone. Luckily, it will cure and not be as big of a mess, but it is sticky now. So if I can prevent spilling it everywhere, that's for the best. Oh yeah, I'm gonna have plenty here. I might have extra. I'll have to figure out what to do with that. Right there, I just spilled some. That's okay. I don't necessarily like sitting here in silence, just in case someone pops in and they're just like, why is it so quiet? But also, there's no one here. So I'm kind of just talking to the air. Maybe I'll start doing stuff like this as YouTube videos. Not this necessarily, but like resin pouring. Because I like seeing the finished pieces. So maybe I'll do like unmoldings on here. Especially once I have more molds. So that I can actually, you know, unmold more than one thing. So it won't just be 5 seconds. Maybe unmolding and setting things up, I don't know. Babe. Let's see if I can hold this while I grab my tea. I just want more tea. My throat's getting dry. This would be a great, not stamina exercise, but I guess stamina exercise. I've been doing some online voice acting, like via Zoom classes, just for fun. I wouldn't say that I'm good at it, but I'm enjoying myself, so I'm sure I'm annoying everyone else in the class because I don't know when to shut up. But that's normal. I'm gonna blame ADHD for that one. Because I know that I should shut up, and I just can't. Oh, anyways, one of the things that we were talking about is you know, being able to record for however many hours at a time. And it's only been an hour and a half, and my voice is already getting a little bit raw. Not necessarily raw, but a little bit. It's giving me a little bit of a sore throat. I do know I can sing for fairly long, and I say that because I was driving Uber Eats for 3 hours at a time and singing along to all of the songs on the radio for 3 hours at a time. I suppose I do have a little bit of relaxation in the middle there, though, where I'm picking up or dropping off food. Okay, that's filled up to that line. Probably use a little bit more, but we'll go make sure this is filled up to the line first. I actually have quite a bit of extra here. We might do some sort of impromptu mold. I did this before for some, need some more crystal molds, which honestly, I think those might be kind of cool. I think I'm gonna fill a little bit more to both of these first though. Okay, that's plenty in that one. Pour a little bit more to this one. Just a little bit more. Shouldn't take too much. I do actually worry about this one being thick enough. Okay, so those are both done, and I have quite a bit left. So let's make some sort of mold quickly. I did a crystal mold recently to go with my other random bits and bobs mold. What do we want to tape down in here? I mean, I could do crystals again, but how about a small gear? Maybe some smooth rocks and this shell. And another crystal, why not? Yeah. I'll take these off so I can actually, oh, no, actually I can leave these on. These are fine. Gotta do this in my time window. My time crunch. Where did that go? Okay, doesn't matter if it's super flush here, because I can cut these down, it'll be fine. Why does it want to stick though? It doesn't want to stick. Okay, that's good enough for me. I don't think I'm going to be able to get that shell done. Let's get these. A couple of rocks. So hard to judge exactly how much silicone I'll need. I mean, I say that having done this twice already, but you know, with exactly the same size things. To be fair, I needed more last time because I did make that they were elevated a little bit because of the way that it was they were placed in there. So I think if I'm remembering correctly, I used the same amount last time and it was not quite enough and I had to mix more. And I think that's probably because it was elevated now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah. I don't know why that song stuck in my head. I don't particularly like Meghan Trainor. All of her stuff seems so negative. I don't like it. It's all very like, I'm better than you kind of music, and I don't like that. I don't like that kind of attitude. It's always made me uncomfortable. I don't like music that is like everybody else sucks sort of music. I do like a good like fuck you song. Can I say that on Twitch? I don't know what the rules are for Twitch. I would assume you can swear. Like a good, like, oh, what's that song called? So much fun to sing. I dug my key into the side of this pretty little... That song. What is that song called? I can't remember what that song is called. If anyone wants to remind me what that song... Is it Before He Cheats? Is that what the song's called? I think that's what it's called. It's been playing on the radio a couple times recently. And that's a song I can jam out to. Like, never been cheated on. Not all that interested in relationships to begin with, but it's just so much fun to sing while you're driving in the car, being loud. And we're back to me singing in the car, which I do a lot of. Okay. Oh yeah, this is getting thick because I took the time to go and I just have too much silicone, which is sad because I'm hoping I have enough for the lids. I need to have enough for the lids of these molds that I'm making, because I'm making cap molds for dice. But I'll at least make another little trinkets mold like I did with making a couple of crystal molds last time I did this. I think it was when I made the lids last time that I had some extra. I'm pretty sure I didn't have enough the last time I did one of these sorts of molds. I'm pretty sure it's because I did an elevated kind. I'm pretty sure I did this exact same amount of silicone, but I just didn't take into account that elevatedness, and it took quite a bit more. But yeah, I have quite a bit of extra silicone. What am I gonna do with this? Oh no. Well, what else do I want to make a mold of? What else do I want to make a mold of? Oh, let me grab another one of these. Got another one of those. Let's see what we got. Ooh, wait. That could be fun. If I... Will that fit on here? Oh, that'll fit on here. Alright. Let's do what we did before for making these molds. Although maybe a little bit more quick and dirty since I'm working with a window here. I didn't actually set these up beforehand just in case, because I thought I would have possibly too little, not too much. I think things out well, okay? So we're going back to what I was doing before. With these, I'm just taking some tape and running it around the edges to make a wall. Hopefully not sweating too much on the tape because of my sweaty glove hands, because I was wearing gloves. I don't know what else I would mean by sweaty glove hands, but it just doesn't sound very good. Okay. Alright. Let's see here. I just want to make sure this is on there pretty good, because I don't want any silicone leaking out. Why is it not going on there pretty good? I want this to be lower. There's a little bit of a... Oh no! Oh no! I stuck it! I'm just making a mess! I think we're okay. Alright. Oh, I should have stuck this key down first. No, let's do that before I go any further. just have some double-sided tape here. I'm just gonna stick that down. Yeah, I'm gonna do it on this side. This side's not really as interesting. Hopefully this will actually, doesn't want to stay down. I just need it to stick down a little bit though, so it doesn't, well, it's not gonna float, I guess. So it's not actually that big of an issue. Well, I do have room. I could put something else in here too. Well, if we're going mechanical, let's do that. Do a nut and bolt. It's always so exciting when it jumps up to 2 viewers instead of 1 viewer. Then no one ever sticks around. It says hi, which is fine. No one has to stick around and say hi. They don't want to. Okay, I'm worried about that right there. That's not gonna hold, so I need to. To the side, pretty much done. And the kitty cat's back. Alright, I'm gonna call that good. Make sure that is where I want it. Press down. Gloves are off. Uh-oh, this is getting thicker. I have that stuck in my head now. I don't think I can sing it because of copyright stuff. Yeah, pretty sure I can't sing. Just sad, because I do a lot of that normally. A lot of the singing type thing. Maybe next. I think as long as it's below 10 seconds, right, it's fine. I think I could put the rest of my silicone in here and this will be an okay spot for it. You can see how neat I am when I work. I have silicone everywhere. But at least just silicone. I'm gonna make sure it's enough to cover that bolt, which is, it's covered now, but I think I can I'm just gonna put the last little bit of this in here. Oof, it's getting really thick now. I need to get this in the pressure pot. Yeah. Give me just a second. I think we've reached our 30-minute working time. So I think that's the end of that. Just throw that in there. Alright, these are gonna go in the pressure pot because I pressure cast most of my resin stuff. So for that, I have a very fancy lid of rice. You can kind of see it's discolored because I have done other resin things. The only reason that I really have the rice here, and I probably won't because I did order some flat wooden rounds to put in my pressure pot because the bottom is concave. Yeah, concave, and so I can't set things flat in it. But the reason I have the rice, at least at the moment, is so that I can actually make sure things are flat. Oh, that's from me spilling, not from it leaking. I am most worried about this one leaking, but I am also least worried about that one turning out good, if that makes sense. Alright, let me just wiggle it a little bit. Try and get some of those air bubbles out. Make sure to get some of those air bubbles out. Hopefully, by pouring really slowly, we shouldn't have too many air bubbles. And hopefully, by pouring from the bottom up, it should have filled all the little numbers, and not left it with any too big of gaps. And I'm gonna put it in the pressure pot. Yeah, you can see some bubbles there in the one that was thicker when I poured it. Like I said, I'm less worried about that one. But I'm gonna put it in the pressure pot, and that should condense all the bubbles too. It's not necessarily as good for silicone as it is for resin, because silicone is, you know, squishy and malleable, so it'll condense the bubbles, but they can still kind of expand a little bit, especially if they're pretty big. But this makes it so that it is ready for being pressurized with resin in the future. Okay, just a second. I will set my camera so you can see where I'm going in my extremely messy craft room. My face. This is a pressure pot that I got one of those like paint ones from Harbor Freight. You like put paint in it and pressurize it, so that you can like spray paint things kind of. But I got some different pieces and modified it so that I can basically just put air in it so I can pressurize my resin pieces. And what that does is it makes all the bubbles that are inside the resin, like the micro bubbles, the really tiny bubbles, so it pushes them together so that you can't even see them in the final pieces. And it makes super crystal clear resin pieces. And in the case of the cat molds, like I use for my dice, I think I saw a thing once where if you use like a cat mold without the thing, it gets all bubbly because there's nowhere for the air to escape. And so with the cat molds, using the pressure pot condenses all the bubbles that are kind of caught in there instead of them foaming up. I just want this to be as tight as possible, so I'm going to put 40 psi of pressure in here, if not a little bit more. You usually want a little bit more for your molds, apparently, than your resin pieces. I usually do pressure cast my resin dice about 40 psi. Alright. Let's fill her up. Hopefully that lid's on tight enough. And it has a good seal. Let's go. Oof, I'm getting chilly again. I'm just gonna grab that. This is the super exciting part of this video where I sit here and watch a pressure gauge go up to 40 psi. I'll be back in a moment though, and we'll unmold the dice that I have sitting there. We're at 30, so we're almost there. It just takes a second. I'll probably make it go faster, but I don't know. I don't want to mess with things too much. It sounds like it's holding pretty well. Usually if it doesn't have a good seal, I'll hear a little sound from this of air escaping. I'm not hearing that, so that's good. Alright. And we're at 40. Let me get up to about 42 or so. And yeah, there we go. Depressurize that so I can take this up. Oh. I think I do hear a little bit of a leak, but I'll worry about that after I finish streaming. In the meantime, oops. There we go. In the meantime, let me just clean this up a little bit and we can unmold these dice. It's so sticky. It'll cure. It's already starting to cure. You can kind of see it balls up. But it's in my way at the moment, so I'm gonna get that wiped up and out of the way. My fancy white table here is well, it's a black table with a thing of like paper on, of like a kind of plastic paper on top of it. That's from some stickers, like big signage stickers for a sign. Alright, let's see if we can get any of these unmolded. So I was saying before, this mold is a lot harder to unmold than this mold. This mold is much easier to unmold, just because of the way they're set up with this being flat and then this having kind of that indentation. So let's see what we can do here. Probably the easiest is always the D4. So we'll get that out first. The D6. Come on. There we go. So these are some fighter dice. I made them for a fighter, well, I designed them for a fighter character of mine at one point with kind of a gunmetal color and a copper. Here's an example of a finished one from a old, just one of those like wish molds that I got. I think a lot of people start with. Still not doesn't want to focus. But kind of that gunmetal and that copper color with the gold. I thought it was kind of good for like a fighter who does a lot of weapon stuff. So there's those two. Let's see if we can get any more of these out. I feel like the hardest to get out is the D10s almost. My main concern is that, so the resin that I use takes 24 hours to cure, but for like a full cure, it takes, it's either 48 or 72. I think 48 hours, because I can usually sand them after 2 days. A little bit more than that. So these might still be slightly soft, but actually they're looking pretty good. They're not looking overly soft or anything. So the colors are going pretty well. I feel like maybe I should have saturated it more because it doesn't look as saturated on the top as it does on the bottom. But you know, you live and you learn. All right. Let's see if I can get this one out. Oh man. We'll try for this instead. Oh, it might be easiest to get the D20 out. Oh no! There was a piece of glitter in there from when from the last set that I did in here. That's unfortunate. Well, these are just for me though, so that's okay. Yeah, there's a piece of blue glitter from another set of dice that I made. This is kind of the idea. Wow, it really does not want to focus. Let's see if I can add a feather. These didn't quite turn out how I wanted them to, but I do like this glitter. So, yeah, that's okay. These are just kind of example sets anyways. I want to get some examples made so that if I ever open commissions, I have photos of dice that I've actually made that aren't just the ones that I've already made and put on my Etsy. Okay, let's get this D10 out. All right. There's that D10. More gunmetal and copper. I do like that, so these are both micas. The gunmetal one is a Pearl X powder, and the copper is a Brambleberry soap color and mica. And I like that they're different kinds of sparkly. Oh, come on. Yeah, there we go. You can kind of see, like, the copper has more like sparkles, and then the gunmetal color's almost just more of a shimmer as opposed to the glitter. I like that they're different. Well, these might actually be, you know, I was talking about earlier about how this mold was causing me issues because it had left too much of a lip. But I think these turned out a little bit better, and I think it's because I pushed down the lid a little bit and actually tried to, like, lock the lid in there. There's still a bit of a lip, but there's not as much as on the past ones I pulled out, which really had a lip, and it's caused me sanding problems. But like I said, they didn't quite turn out how I wanted anyways, so I'm not too worried about it. I'll have to try remaking them, because I do like the idea. Yeah, these are a lot more flush than the last set I pulled out. Alright, and the D12. It's coming out. It's just hard because there's so much silicone here around all of the dice. Come on. Come on. Oh no, it's going back in. It is good that silicone is nice and stretchy though. Silicone's great for resin stuff because it doesn't stick to it at all. Makes it super nice. I've seen plastic molds as well for resin, and that makes sense to me because it does also not stick to plastic all that much. Resin doesn't. And I can show you that in a second too, if you're interested. Ah, come on, come out, come out. There we go. I'm so close. I don't want to put too much pressure on this. But I'm slowly getting some corners out. Oh, there we go, there we go, there we go. There we go. And there's the D12. Again, I think I probably should have put a little bit more pigment. Put a little bit more pigment in, because you can see that the back has almost more than. It really doesn't like to focus. No, the front isn't as saturated. So there's those. That's the set that I pulled out of this mold. There's a whole bunch of extra little flakes of resin here that I'm just gonna pull off. That came out of this mold, and the other ones that I pulled today. Oh well, these came out of these molds over here. And then the other set I pulled out was just this black set. The idea here is I'm going to try and make a matte black. They're kind of shiny at the moment, but I saw a technique for hopefully making them a little bit more matte online. Oh hey, I can unmold these too. Oh, speaking of plastic, unmolding plastic. These are the mixing cups that I used for those colors, and I can just pull the resin right out. It's honestly pretty satisfying. It's one of the ways that I check, because I put all of my resin in my pressure pot. I don't want to take it out of the pressure pot before it's completely done curing. And obviously I know about how long it takes and all that, but I will sometimes go to like the mixing cups and go and be like, how soft is this? To just double check that things are ready to come out. The other thing that I've been kind of doing is, if I have leftover resin, I'm putting them in crystal molds. I have these little crystal molds. That's how I get it out. So like I had it left over with metallics. This one's only half full, so I might leave it and fill it up with more of some different color. I have so many of these now. I don't know what to do with them all. I mean, beyond just sort them by color, because that's what I was doing the other day. These were all, let's see, these are all from the amethyst type dies. These are all from the space type dies. I do a lot of space ones. This is from that. And these are from a different set that I was testing out. Well, two sets. That red and purple and that orange. Anyways, I think that is it for today. I have my molds in my pressure pot, and I have my other dice pulled out. So I think I'm good to go. If anybody is watching this now or later on, I guess, VOD, you know, feel free to, you know, message me or leave a comment or something to tell me what you'd like to see. Maybe some more dice pouring, dice unmolding. I do enjoy streaming, even if nobody shows up. I guess I just like talking to myself. So yeah, if you see this, let me know what you'd like to see, and I'll see what I can do. Anyways, I think that's it for tonight. So everyone out there, have a good night. I will see you later. Bye!